Welcome to Crafty Hints. I'm Chantel. I'm so happy to have you here today for some gnome DIYs. Now they will be just a little bit longer than that 5 minutes. You can follow me on my social media if you'd like to. Let's get crafty. For my first gnome, it's going to be a little gnome, and I took this Kcup and I'm recycling it or reusing it. So to do that, you just want to get right underneath that coffee filter. It's not as messy as you would think, but I don't use these very often, so my coffee was still a little bit damp. But if you just take one that's, maybe poke the top and let it dry out for a day or two. So I washed that out. Now I'm taking a little styrofoam ball. I picked that up in a 6-pack at the Dollar Tree. And I have a couple of ribbons here. This is that burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree. And so that the white doesn't show through, I need this to go around about 2 times. I wanted to also make sure that the bottom lip of that doesn't show. So I did stagger that down just a little bit on my second time around. But where it tapers down, that will be underneath my gnome's beard. I thought that this would be really cute to give to someone so that they could have it on their desk. It isn't, this huge gnome sitting there on their desk, but maybe just something they set next to their computer or in the car. I don't know, wherever, maybe it's a little shelf sitter, but I thought it's just tiny enough. Okay, this is some of that faux fur that I've still had from last year. If you get it while Hobby Lobby's fabric is half off, you'll get a great deal. The trick to cutting this is you only cut the back. You don't cut all the way through. See how if I cut that straight across, that wouldn't, be fuzzy off the edge. So now I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to taper the edges a little bit so it looks more shapely like a beard. And it just takes a little bit of patience there and figure out exactly how you want that beard to fit. I could not find my big old sheet of this, so I'm using a little piece that I found in my stash. I haven't pulled out all of my Christmas stuff quite yet, but goodness, that's coming soon. We're just about to the end of some of these fall DIYs. I know. It isn't even quite October, but October leads us right into the Christmas stuff. So we've got to stay a season ahead for you so that you have time to create. Okay, so I've got this, I don't know, what is that? Not even maybe a quarter of the way up the styrofoam ball. Now I decided I was going to take a little extra piece and cover the back so that he has some hair. So part of it's probably his beard, part of it's probably his hair. He's got a mustache in there. That's all right. We'll hook him up and make him look good. So again, cutting through the back, you get to see this cut a few times to remind you. You could even take a comb through this if you wanted to make sure and you've got all the extra little fibers out. So our poor gnome has a hairpiece. Okay, I just snipped this just a little bit so that his nose could sit down in there. Normally, I put the holes of my bead at the top and the bottom for a gnome. This one, I did do side to side. I was thinking that parts of his nose at the bottom might show. And so I was going to tuck part of his mustache right in the sides. Just getting some of that extra glue out of there so that when I get his mustache up there, it will sit just right. I think he could have maybe even had the next size up nose, but I try to give them, just a little bit of a different character. You don't want everybody's gnome to be exactly the same. And so I'm trying to make these a little bit different. I know on YouTube there's all different kinds of gnomes out there, especially with socks and things like that. So none of mine are made with fabric or socks or anything. I tried to be creative and show you a couple different ways you could make gnomes. So stay tuned for 2 other gnomes after this. Okay, this is some of that green, it's not quite burlap, but kind of, ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I folded it in half, and I like that it has that wire, so it's going to help me mold it right to his head. So after I mold it to his head, I folded over just that top edge, and then I folded the other edge right on there. And it's as easy as that for this hat. Super easy. So I'll secure it on the front. And we'll just bring it around the back and glue these 2 flaps together. Super simple. Yeah, just make sure you fluff up his mustache a little bit, make it a little bit separate instead of all of his hair going straight down. Trim that as much as you might want. And then we'll just secure this. Next, I got this ribbon at Hobby Lobby. It was $2.99, I think, but I always grab my ribbon every other week. I think it's half off. Every few weeks. So I always grab my ribbon then that I might need for this season and or the next. And I just thought that this was super cute. It just tied this all together. Super simple, guy. And look, that would have been trash. So I don't use Kcups often, but when I do, I try to save them and think of something creative to use them for. If you love gnomes, this is going to be part of the I Love Fall No Matter What playlist. Our host this month is Krista's Crafty Life and Connie's Creative Creations. And then Brenda from Rustic and Lace DIY, myself, and Jackie Burns Creations are all also going to be part of the playlist. So click the playlist below and enjoy those videos too. I started out with one of those wooden hearts from Valentine's Day, and I'm just adding some different leaves from several different picks. I'm cutting off the stems off of some of them and just layering this. If you haven't guessed it, yep, it's a gnome beard. So this is another fun way, another spin on a gnome. So just continue to layer those every which way. I won't make you watch me do the whole beard, but you get the idea. So there it is. Just continue to tuck in a little bit here or there until you're happy. Make it as full as you want. So got to give him a big old nose. This time I did do the nose with the hole up at the top and at the bottom. Going to put a leaf right here that'll help cover up that hole. I took a piece of felt, and this one's from Hobby Lobby. I really like that color. I just folded it over, made that a square. And now I'm just going to round that edge that we had cut. A little bit of glue here. And I kind of checked to see which side I wanted facing out. They're pretty similar though. And then after it was dry, set, I guess you would say, I flipped it right side out because I wasn't totally set on what I was going to do with this one. So I thought in case you could see the back, I wanted to make sure that I did it this way, but you could leave it inside out. It wasn't going to matter. I'm just folding over that little seam and gluing that down. I stuck a Dollar Tree bag in there, and then I'll stick a little bit of tissue paper in there as well to just finish stuffing his hat. It's kind of craft as you go, you know, you kind of like it one way and then you might just change it up from what you were thinking. You just don't know where your imagination is going to take you. So go with it, try it out. This is just a jumping point for you. I'm sure you've got some creative ideas. I'd love to see them. If you'd like to email me at craftyhints@gmail.com or tag me on Instagram, I would love to see them. I would even love to put them on a video for you and give you a shout out. I'd love to see some of your great creations. All right, just gluing him down and in place here. I think he's coming together nicely. What do you think? All right, we're just going to pinch the sides shut and, fold it back if you feel like you need to, however you'd like it. I'm using this little bit of wider ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I thought that would go well with this blue. And it's just a little bit darker, might go with the leaves a little bit. I folded it over so that it was about half the width. I just thought the white would be too bright on this one. So I decided to just give an edge to his hat also. I just think it makes it look just a little bit more finished. Obviously, it's not necessary. I've seen many gnomes without their hat trimmed. I found this sign at the Dollar Tree. It's a little bit of a smaller circle. I painted that in Waverly plaster. I just painted the whole thing. At first, I tried to avoid the hello, and then I realized it would just be better to get, on the inside of that and everything. And then I painted the hello in pumpkin. And yes, I did have to go back and touch up a few little spots with some plaster, but that's okay. This part's a little bit relaxing as you're painting those letters in. I decided I wanted this gnome's hat to fold over. So I'm just going to clip that down. You could use any sort of clamp, a clothespin, hold it in place until the glue sets, etc. And now I want to secure it to my sign. And so I'm going to use a couple popsicle sticks. I did glue that heart on there also. So part of the heart's on there, but it needs just a little bit more stability. So I'm going to glue these popsicle sticks so that it can stay on there and it's just, isn't too wobbly. That's a little bit of weight on that side. Now, I debated whether to do a big old bow at the top of this, but couldn't decide exactly what colors. I was thinking maybe that green ribbon would work, maybe adding a little bit of that orange. In the end, I decided not to. I am going to put a bow on the gnome just to give him a little something, but let me know what you would do up at the top. Would you put a big bow? Would you put the rope back on there? What would you do? I'm going to use the ribbon and that will be my hanger so that it does match the bow and the rim of his hat. I thought that kind of guided your eye. It's kind of that rule of thirds. So that was my thinking, but I look at it and I think, I probably could still, add a bigger bow there. I'm not sure. So let me know what you think. I think he's fun though. Isn't he a cutie? Let's get to our last one here. I took a toilet paper tube and clipped off, it's about 3/4 of an inch or so. I wasn't precise, but now I took this book, it was just the best size I could find, and wrapped it around about 40 times. So after you wrap that around, we just have to clip that off. That gave me about the right length. I was trying to remember. I think I measured this last time. Was it about 18 inches? So that it's about, 9 inches when you fold it over. Possibly. That sounds a little bit long though. So yeah, maybe. You're going to trim it off anyways, so, maybe cut one piece and see what length you like. So you're just making a loop, and then it's just that slip knot. So make a loop around, feed it through, take your loop, and put your two ends through there. You'll get a system down and just keep going. It's a good one to do as you're, just sitting in front of the TV. Now, this will make one of those little stocking caps. So you can use this for ornaments. You can use this for gnomes. So many fun things you can do with these. They're cute on a tiered tray. Super simple. So just the last couple here. You'll want around 40 pieces, just depending how tight you want those in there, depending if you use a toilet paper roll or if you use toilet paper or paper towel, I should say. Okay, now push it back through the other way so that our knots are hidden, and it just gives us a little bit more of a brim on our hat. You'll see the difference. You'll see once you push it through what the difference is. Now you're going to take one of those pieces. After you straighten them out, mine was kind of wound around it, kind of like the white yarn you see there. So it was a little bit kinked up. So make sure they're all going nice and straight, and then tie it. Make sure, get your fingers in there. Make sure that everything's straight on the inside so that once you put your cotton balls in there or tissue paper that, it's all going to sit nice and straight. So I just snipped off some of that and just continue to trim it till it has a cute little pom-pom that looks the way you want it to. I tend to make the ones closer down at the bottom of it a little bit shorter. I think that's cute. Super fun. Okay, so just a couple cotton balls in there. And you might have to just pull those up straight. Okay, unfortunately, I didn't show this. I'm sorry. I wrapped it around the book again, and then I just tied a string around the top third, and then I just folded up the other 2/3 up to meet that 1/3, if that makes sense. So the bottom 2/3 is at the bottom, top 2/3 or top third is at the top, and I just kind of split that in half. So this is going to make a beard and the mustache. So that top third was the mustache. I kind of trimmed it down a little bit. Now I'm just straightening these out a bit, and then, can trim them down. Trying to figure out where I'm going to do this and put my nose. I did leave that on there, the string, when I tied it, just in case I was going to have this as something that could hang up, and then I got another idea. So glue my bead there at the top, and now I'm just putting glue around the back side of it and part of the hat so that they'll adhere. And now I'm just putting it on the back of this jar. So I made sure I had room in the back. Now I'm going to put some glue, and it just fits right over that knob. Isn't that kind of fun? Okay, we're going to get some glue, get him in there. That way he doesn't move when you go to take your lid off. Of course, you don't want to use him as a pole. I would still, put my fingers around the edges of it. But let's trim his beard up a little bit. Look how super fast he was. We made a hat. We made kind of like a long pom-pom. We trim it up, and he's really just about done. Just want to make sure that you get it all straightened out and trimmed the way you want him, and he should be set. I thought this would be a fun little fall gift to give to maybe a neighbor or something. And as I continue to straighten it out, you know, some more fall into place. You just have to kind of give him a little haircut. Little trip to the barber for the guy. I do hope you've been enjoying these and you've given me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more, hit subscribe. If you'd like to be notified when I'm going to have another video, hit that bell and it'll notify you. I just put some candy in there, that fall mix, and there it is. Isn't that cute? You could set him up a little bit more. You can have him tip back, just kind of lazy and chilling like I did. I think he's so fun. Thank you so very much for watching. I truly appreciate you, and I hope that you take a little bit of time for you, do a little bit of crafting, and remind yourself of how very special you are. Here's a couple other videos you might enjoy.